into the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. Early on that morning, ladies were going to anoint the body of Jesus, put some perfumes on it. They went and they saw something was changed. The stone that was guarding the entrance of the tomb had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter to tell him what she had seen. That she came running to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they put him." So Peter and John got the news that the grave was open and that Jesus was gone. Verse number 3, it says, "So Peter and the other disciples started for the tomb. Both were running. But the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent over and looked in at the strips of linen lying there, but did not go in. Then Simon Peter, who was behind him, arrived and went into the tomb. He saw the strips of linen lying there, as well as the burial cloth that had been around Jesus' head. The cloth was folded up and separate from the linen." Now I'm going to tell you something that I had never thought about before concerning the Easter story. The information about the resurrection of Jesus is a story that most of us have heard. Jesus is alive. They tried to put an end to him. He died on the cross, but they didn't know why he died on the cross. He did it so that he could pay for our sins, we could be forgiven, and we could live forever with him. When he died, they thought that was it. But he got out of the tomb and walked out. The ladies went and saw. They didn't know what was going on. Where is he at? Somebody moved him. Somebody taken him. Mary said, she was actually talking to Jesus. She was like, "Sir, if you moved his body, just tell me where he's at. I just want to know where he's at." And then he called her name. He said, "Mary." She knew who he was. So she called him teacher. When Jesus shows up in your life, it changes you. It changes you in a real way. When you see Jesus with your eyes, sometimes he don't look like what you expected. I was telling my Sunday school class, I see Jesus when I look out and I see everybody come to worship on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. I see Jesus when little kids get on the church van. I see Jesus when I look at my own children. Or I look outside and I see how God has made everything. I mean, this earth is sustaining life. It could very easily just tilt one way or the other and everybody die, but everything is exactly how it should be. God's thought of everything, and I see him in everything. But there was a time when I didn't. There was a time when I didn't know that Jesus was alive. I wanted to know. I wanted to see. Listen to this. Peter and John had already been with Jesus. Peter had recently denied that he knew Jesus. He had already had his heart broken. John was the disciple whom Jesus loved. When they heard that the body was missing, when Jesus was gone, Peter took off running. He wanted to see what was going on. Peter was older than John. John saw Peter take off, so John followed Peter. And he outran Peter. When John got to the tomb, he got there and he looked in, but he was too afraid, too timid to go on in, so he stopped. Peter caught up. Peter didn't hesitate. Peter rushed right on in. Once he got in, then John came on in. And what God showed me with this is that every single human being that was created by God, now I don't know about the ones that wasn't created by God. They're a little weird. Right? But all the other human beings that were created by God have a yearning to see God. It's something inside of us God placed that we don't ever feel complete until we are with Him. We search for it. We look for God in a lot of different things. There are people that look for God in a liquor bottle. There are people that look for God in a bad relationship. They are looking for some kind of satisfaction that only Jesus can give. And Jesus cannot give you that satisfaction if He's dead, but He's not. You want to find the living God because He changes you. He completes you. Well, when Peter took off running, that encouraged John to run. John outran Peter. So I think John encouraged Peter to run a little faster. Peter might not have ran as fast as he had the young John not outran him. Once John got there, his immaturity, his fears, all these things, that's like going to church and you know that what you're hearing and what you're seeing is real, but yet you still hang on to that pew and you never let go. You never take that next step that would be you meeting Jesus. Somebody comes alongside of you and they encourage you to take that next step. John stopped. Peter went right on in. He knew who he was looking for. He wanted to see if he was really missing. He had to locate. There are people in your life that are going to be like Peter. Maybe it's you. God put you here and He has given you the faith that you have to encourage those people that need to take the next step. You know what you've seen. You know what you know. Can't nobody take it away from you. Have you seen Jesus? All He wants you to do is tell the folks that haven't where He's at. Share what you know. Then all of a sudden they might outrun you. They might wind up encouraging you to do a little more. Just like John did with Peter. Peter got to the tomb and he rushed right on in. And then John looked at him. It took them a while. They needed each other. I think if Peter had gone by himself, it would have took a while. He might have missed something. I think if John had went by himself, he might have never even went in. God gave us other people so that our faith could be strong. I'd never noticed that about the Easter story. But it's true. It's right there in red and black and white. Some of us are Peter, some of us are John. Some of us are like Mary. Mary shows up at the tomb first. Mary sees that Jesus is missing first. And Mary is the first one that Jesus appears to, for she knows who He is. The very first one. There's a lady who was possessed by demons, who the crowd wanted to stone, who didn't nobody like her, who was put down, came from nothing, wasn't ever going to be nothing. She was the first one to see Jesus alive after the cross. See, God don't care where you come from, what you've been through, all your past, your sins and all that. Because when He sees you and He sees His Son's blood on you, there ain't nothing wrong with you. You've been made clean. You're whole. I have a hard time accepting that. That God would love me so much and look past everything, that's hard. But He does. God doesn't hold a grudge. I murdered Jesus. I did. My sins were plenty enough for all the stripes He took. God don't hold a grudge. He loves me. Now when He looks at me, He don't see any of it. Y'all, this world is looking for Jesus. They may not even know who it is they're looking for, but they're looking. The world right now today needs to find an empty tomb. They don't need any more dead religion. The world right now needs to know that Jesus is alive. And the only way I know to show people that Jesus is alive is by the church being alive with Him. We have got to get out of Jesus' way. If He has shown Himself to you, His perfect resurrected body, if He has been present in your life, if He has whispered in your ear, if He has called you, the world needs to see that. The world does not need to see fake religion, or dead church, or a bunch of hypocrites anymore. Easter's about Jesus being alive. Somebody that's alive does stuff. Somebody that's dead don't. Have you met Jesus? You can find Him about anywhere. He is omnipresent. You can find Jesus in a jail cell. You can find Him from the church pew. Pretty much anywhere in between. There's a lot of people that have found Jesus from the top of a mountain. Some people have found Him down deep in a cave where there was no light at all. Jesus is wherever you are. He's not missing. All we have to do is open our eyes. You know, there are different times in our lives when we are living in fear, we're living in doubt, basically just surrounded by darkness. All of us are. But Jesus is the light of the world. Whatever darkness is surrounding you today, Jesus can run that darkness off. Think about a flashlight. We've got a few at the house. Okay? And every single one of those flashlights, like if the power goes off or it becomes what they call night, you know, it's dark. Them flashlights don't just come on automatically. You've got to push a button. You know, I was thinking about this. I was like, we don't have one where I could just say, light! Light! I got to actually cut it on. You know, Jesus would run all the darkness out of my life if I asked Him to. That's the equivalent of turning on a flashlight. I got to ask Him to. Now, some of y'all, Your houses may be smarter than ours. You might can actually say light and the lights come on. That's a thing now. Or you could, ask that chick what they call Alexa, turn on the lights, or something like that, and it might happen. I'm telling you, the light is spreading. But I ain't heard of one yet where it reads your mind. You got to call on it. In celebrating Easter, it is a day of new beginning, a day of something happening, something starting. And these disciples, all of them, it says in the very next verse, in verse 9, it says in verse 8, they looked in the tomb, they saw it, they believed. And it says in verse 9, but they still did not understand that Jesus had to rise. When they looked in, they believed what Mary told them, that Jesus was not here. But they still didn't understand it. Coming to faith in Jesus Christ is not about knowing everything. You're not. Okay? Just deal with it. There are going to be things that are unexplained, things that you can't wrap your mind around. That's okay. Once they met Jesus, though, there was no more doubting at that point. One guy died of old age. The other ones were murdered because of what they believed. They saw Jesus. And then they believed till death. I think the world needs to see Jesus in us like that, where it changes somebody so much that they're willing to die. That's radical faith. There's plenty of other religions that have radical, except for Christianity. Doesn't have as many radicals as other religions. I'm not saying to be mean. I'm saying to be real. Believe what you say you believe. Have you seen Jesus? All right. Quickly, this is where you can say amen out loud or nod or something like that. Just let me know your life, all right? Ask your soul, have you seen Jesus? All right. If you have, has he changed you? I can go to the zoo and look in a cage. That don't make me what's in the cage. If I get in that cage and live with it for a little while, I'll probably start acting like it. Seeing is believing. And believe in what you say. You need to surrender your heart to Christ. He's calling you. Give it to him. Let's stand. We're going to sing an invitational hymn. If you would like to pray to God right now.